why it's important that we embrace diversity in radiology, I kind of felt like maybe we were asking the wrong question, because we know that diverse teams, diverse leadership drives better outcomes. We know we have a gender gap in radiology, and let's not even talk about how poorly we do when it comes to encouraging and including underrepresented minorities in our profession. So it seemed to me, if we know that we need to do better, why shouldn't we ask ourselves, why is this so hard to do? Then I went back and I read the question again, and I focused on the word embrace. Why is it important that we embrace diversity? And I think that's important. It is critical that we embrace diversity with open arms, open hearts, open minds, because if we just endure diversity with a limp handshake and gritted teeth because we know it's the right thing to do, we are not going to get to where we need to be. So what does it mean to embrace diversity? Well, I think it starts with expanding our idea of what a leader looks like and who should be in the leadership room. And when we think about doing that, we have to be prepared for people who will come into the room with different experiences, different values, different communication styles, potentially some uncomfortable questions for those of us who are already in the room about what we might have done, perhaps unintentionally, to exclude them in the past. On our side, for those of us who are in leadership, perhaps some sense of disappointment that our well-meaning programs had not succeeded or even fallen flat. So I think we have to expand our idea of what it means to be a leader. And once we have a variety or diversity of people in the room, it's critically important that we empower their voices. Michelle Obama has said that too many of us who are the first person in the room are so grateful to be there that we sit there and we don't say anything. So I think as leaders, we have to really make sure that when we expand the table, bring more chairs to the table, that we encourage and empower those different opinions and different voices. I think that it's also important that we don't segregate, and I know that's a loaded word, that we do not segregate our diversity efforts. I'm very proud of what we've done at the ACR with our Commission on Women in Diversity, our peer scholarships to encourage underrepresented minority medical students to choose radiology. What's been critically important, in my opinion, is that those have been leadership driven with leadership participation. They are part of our leadership. And I think we also have to importantly acknowledge the stress and the loneliness of being the first in the room, the only person in the room. I am very privileged. I'm already in leadership. I've had leadership roles outside of the ACR. But nonetheless, when for the millionth time I'm the only woman in the room at the meeting, yeah, it gets a bit lonely. So I can only imagine how that extrapolates if you're not only the only person who looks like you in the room, but you also have an opinion that diverges from the majorities. So the last piece I want to talk about is to go back to the question and the why. Okay, so if we're embracing diversity, we've expanded our idea of who should be in the room, we've empowered them and their voice. Why? Why is it important? It goes back to what all of the things we do are about, our patients. It's about how we increase our empathy for our patients. I'm not saying we have to have a one-to-one match with our patients, but it's only when we bring their stories and their values into the room that we will design patterns of care that reflect their goals for their health, that we will design research cohorts that include them, and that we will design algorithms that don't bias against them. We have to bring those stories into the room. I got a powerful email from one of our trainees the other day talking about her very challenging childhood, and she said, I don't have to learn about social determinants of health. I've lived them. So I will leave you with this. It's not important that we embrace diversity. It's essential.